Let's begin.
Okay, you know how dinosaurs don't really exist? They never existed. They were invented by the Royal Society in 1841. Fact. No one had ever found any dinosaur bones, and they still haven't. All dinosaur bones are replicas made by chicken bones from China. It's a true story. And you know why you can't use real dinosaur bones? Because they claim that they're still radioactive because of the asteroid 66 million years ago. When you look into the bone wars and how many of them have been proven false, there is not one single skeleton of a dinosaur that exists in the world. None. You can right now be like, oh, well, my uncle found them. But no. None. Engineers have proven that none of the bodies would work. All the guts would fall out. Like a brontosaurus, stegosaurus, and like a T-Rex would be incapable of doing anything. Like all their guts would fall out. That, like the weight versus, like all the engineering is off to the point where they couldn't walk. Everyone's proven this. There's no dinos. So now that you know that there's no dinos and it's the most expensive comedy troupe in history, how funny is it that now dinosaur museums are making them fuck in public? There's a museum in Spain that shows two T-Rex skeletons having sex. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Atmosphere was different, says guy who just got banned for life. Anybody that those arguments work on, you're all gone. You can't prove the Earth was here 66 million years ago. I'm not saying it was or wasn't, but there's no evidence of anything. None. You can't carbon date fossils. They're stone. There's no actual living anything in them. You can't carbon. No one knows anything about timelines. This is all nonsense. It was invented by the Royal Society in 1841. You can look this up. So why wouldn't you make them bang? T-Rex skeletons having sex. Oh yeah, this is in public museums. Why wouldn't you? I know people that have degrees in which they're paying off debt to this day in paleontology. They have whole degrees in things that are lies. It's like those things that you're looking at right there, those skeletons don't exist. They've never found a single skeleton like that. They're all invented. All. Was there giant beasts that used to exist that don't exist? Yeah, I think there was dragons. I think that there was giants. I think that there was all kinds of shit, not dinosaurs. Like imagine knowing the dinosaurs are fake and you have to just pretend and you're just like, I've just uncovered another Stegosaurus toe from you. You know what? Screw it. Just make them fuck. Where? Publicly. Make little kids look at it. Why?
I thought they were going to have him dressed up and dancing in a top hat or something.
I fell. I was walking down the stairs. I hit my head on the banister. Jay Leno's on video. His whole left eye, his whole left side of his face is black and blue. And he has fallen down a hill, he claims. What's going on is something called soul scalping. And this is where a draconian, viril powered parasite, a reptilian, comes in through the left eye and within 2 weeks kills the soul of the person it's inhabited, but takes over their memories and their consciousness. And it appears as though these people are not going through an initiation. They're not being punished for anything, but they're notables and people of influence. Now, we don't know this, but I'm surmising why these individuals would have the black eye, why they would have the reptilian consciousness. And that's because they're people of influence. And that would be of interest to the race who really is our masters. Now, we think we're top of the food chain. We eat cows, we eat fish. Fish and cows eat other things, et cetera, et cetera. There's a pyramid of who's on top of what food chain. Well, what if we're not on top of the food chain? The thing about the Black Eye Club and this reptilian incursion through the eye, and I'll go into a little more detail of that in a moment, is that we're told by whistleblowers and we're told by certain text that to maintain the life force that they have just assumed, they need to have high stem cell blood and in large quantities, the kind of blood that would come from a baby. And if they can't have blood, then it's going to be adrenochrome. And only if this were true, then it would go a long way to explaining the trafficking, the deep underground military bases where there's factories and the are sacrificed and the blood is used and adrenochrome is created. What if our masters require this? And what if our masters were all the people that we respect and admire and vote for, but they're really no longer themselves? Now, let me take you a little bit further into how this works.
That's some deep shit right there.
It's a show, the whole thing. And maybe that sounds crazy. Or maybe it's just the feeling you get when something stops feeling real. When voices that once felt independent start sounding the same. Same timing, same themes, same sudden shifts. They don't fully agree. They don't fully disagree either. Just enough friction to keep your attention. Just enough alignment to shape your perception. And you start to notice it. The tone feels off. The conviction feels performed. And reactions feel engineered. Not necessarily fake. Not entirely organic either. And that's the point. Because influence doesn't require control. It requires direction. A nudge here, a narrative there. And before you know it, people aren't reacting to reality. They're reacting to a version of it. I'm not here to tell you what's true. I'm just saying, if it feels coordinated, pay attention to that. Because whether it is or is not, the effect is the same. The only thing that matters is this. Be careful what you absorb. Be careful what you repeat. And be careful who benefits from your reaction. Because whatever this is, it's not random.
Is it a stage, a show, or is it a game that we can influence ourselves? There's something about that. It just seems comforting. It seems right.
This is just remarkable, okay? Now look at this pyramid right up here at the top. Do you see that up at the top? That is a statue on top of the pyramid. This is why these old books are very, very crucial, because these buildings have been reset. They've been destroyed, messed with by the Rockefellers. Rockefellers destroyed a lot of the pyramids and they rewrote the history. But there is a statue sitting up on top of that. And if you notice those pyramids in the center right there, there's water. So in the 1700s and 1800s, the pyramids of Giza were surrounded by water. And if you notice, if you go kind of right there, you can see that this pyramid right here is in water. Okay, so now we're adding to the element of building in water a gigantic pyramid, putting a statue on top of there in the water. I mean, this is just stuff that you have to kind of think about. Like, think of the challenge that it would be to get on a boat and move these 500-ton stones and align them perfectly. This is where I talk about alchemy, how alchemy takes place rather than building these things.
You know, history has always bored me to tears, but to learn the real history, now that sounds cool.
Masons have been putting y'all together for a long time, so I want you to look at the symbol. Everybody's seen it, but nobody knows how to read it. There's three pieces, the compass, the square, and the letter G that sits right in the center. There's three, and that's your first number. The compass then sits at 60 degrees, the angle of the equilateral triangle, the most stable geometric form in existence. So 6 plus 0, which is the 60, equals 6. The square is a builder's tool, a right angle, 90 degrees, 9 plus 0 is 9. So here you have 3, 6, and 9. Tesla said if you understand the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, then you'd have the key to the universe. In vortex mathematics, every number in existence reduces through a pattern. 1 doubles to 2, 2 doubles to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 5, 5 goes back to 1. That loop runs forever. But 3, 6, and 9 never enter the loop. They sit outside the loop and they govern the pattern. That's why they put this inside of their symbol. What's up with the G? Everybody thinks it stands for God. In the Lodge, they call it the great architect of the universe. But the letter G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. 7 is the code that creation runs on. 7 days of the week, 7 notes in a musical scale, 7 colors in the visible spectrum of light, 7 chakras, 7 seals in Revelation. The compass marks 6 equal chords around a circle, creating a hexagon. But when you add the center point, you get 7, the hidden number, the one they don't put on the symbol because it is the symbol. Look at the background, purple indigo. Indigo sits at the third eye, the seat of intuition, the frequency where you stop thinking and you start receiving. In Masonic tradition, purple represents the union of the Blue Lodge and the red of the Royal Ark, the merging of the earthly and the spiritual. What does the whole symbol actually say? 369 is the code. 7 is the creation frequency it unlocks. And the pattern tells you where it enters. Through the crown, through the stillness, through the space where you stop performing consciousness and start channeling it. Manly P. Hall wrote that the compass represents the divine, the square represents the material, and the G is the bridge between them. The entire symbol is a map. The compass points up, spirit, the square sits below, matter, and the G is the center, which is you. The 7th note, the center point, the one who walks between worlds. They've been showing us the blueprint the whole time. 369 is not a trend, it's not a manifestation hack, it's the operating system. And someone encoded it into a symbol, hung it on the wall of every lodge on earth, and waited to see who'd actually look. So here's time for you to look. Thank you, and I love you.
Seems like there might be some golden truth seeds there somewhere.
Entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It blows my mind that first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system that creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created a store of value that's literally storing less and less value every day. Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash. What are they doing?
It truly is laughable.
How you doing? All right, how are you? We're good. 20 plus million people dead from those shots. Well, truth's coming out about you and Fauci. How's it feel to kill more people than Hitler?
You're writing some folk songs about it?
Go ahead.
Writing some folk songs?
You'll never get away with what you did, your bioweapon. You're in a lot of trouble.
Controlled opposition times 2. That's a super cool video. I'd love to learn about what really happened that night.
Keeping this from you. This is the underground city that was found beneath Los Angeles by a man named Warren Shufelt. It was discovered using a device he invented to detect underground tunnels and caverns. Shufelt mapped out a network of passageways stretching for miles beneath the city. And here is where it gets crazy. His maps indicated a central chamber filled with gold and advanced artifacts. Schufelt said that upon analysis of the artifacts and the scriptures found within the passageways, they all pointed to a lost continent named Lemuria. Despite his groundbreaking findings, city officials abruptly shut down his excavation. They officially claimed that the tunnels were old subway lines. But this is where they messed up. The Los Angeles subway system didn't begin operation until 1990, over 70 years after Schufelt's discovery. So what subway lines were they referring to? Some speculate that they were referring to an ancient civilization that had access to a subway-like system. Some have even gone further to say that the city officials had knowledge from the future. They knew that Los Angeles would eventually have a running subway system in the years to come, therefore it would be the perfect cover-up, perfectly concealing its true origins.
I don't know if the real Alan Watts would agree with all that. I would like to see some true modern day technology. Looks like a Final Fantasy game in real life.
She joins us now watching the ceremony. I was just saying there, Imogen, this very enjoyable spectacle with dancers, and I presume some people that have taken part in the project as well, shows just how immensely proud the Swiss are of this tunnel for so many reasons.
And so we're going to talk about something we're looking at. Okay, so go ahead, Doc. Just start playing.
Yes, they are zombies.
This is like an army of zombies, and these represent the workers that were in the tunnel.
Yes, the workers in the tunnel. And as you mentioned previously, before we started airing this, the 9 miners who died.
I don't understand the significance of these strange, horrifying ceremonies.
Someone asked me what's the number one health hack I'm working on that no one else has thought of yet, and I told them it has to do with wearing a hat, but specifically when flying on a plane. What people haven't realized is all the modern conveniences of a brand new flight that make it so easy to fly and enjoy it also means that the TV screen of the person behind you is in your headrest. That means as you lie down and take your nap, you're sleeping on an EMF bomb. This is why so many people complain that they have fatigue or even brain fog after getting off a flight, thinking that it's just normal jet lag, when in fact it was because you took a nap on a TV screen. We all know you wouldn't use a television as a pillow at home, so why do it on a flight? Now the challenge is the way the flight seats are designed, you don't have a choice. When I go on a flight, I wear an EMF blocking hat that prevents that electronic pollution from causing damage to my brain, and I don't experience the fatigue and brain fog like everybody else. More importantly, I avoid the inflammation that the EMF causes to the body.
Someone needs to make a EMF and Wi-Fi resistant suit for all of us.
Nathan Hardiman, on January 2026, he was arrested in Area 51.
Oh boy.
This is so creepy and so
Oh
weird.
no, what?
When he was being questioned by these police officers, he was like, just a normal looking dude. And he's like, I know it sounds weird and strange. I was sent here. This is part of a time dilation facility, and we are experiencing this now. He said, you may not remember. He said, I hope you remember it now. It's tied to Revelation. It's tied to heaven. And I was sent by NASA to investigate it. He had multiple military leaders, a NASA ID. He's like, these are all fake. And he's like, they're not fake. He's like, I sit here to observe this. Man, dude, this is really scary. Like the way he was presenting it is so spooky. Like he's like shaking because of like what he thinks is happening. Like his time dilation. Time dilation is a real thing.
There's a space.
Yeah, like so like when astronauts go time different. I looked to see what's up with Nathan now. Nothing. No record of him being in jail. No record of him getting home. Nothing. No.
I might have to look into this one.
Been lied to about the Vikings. They were not just warriors, they were grid keepers. The true original Vikings weren't just from Scandinavia, they were actually from the stars. The original Viking tribes weren't born from bloodlust. They were seeded by pre-Atlantean solar lineages, and they were carriers of eternal flame genetics. Their longships followed ley lines, not coastlines. They were mapping magnetic dragon lines to anchor planetary frequencies on Earth. Their songs weren't battle cries, they were tones which were meant to heal Mother Earth. The original Vikings are grid workers. Each chant echoed across the fjords, syncing Earth's crystalline grid with solar harmonics. The violence came later, after trauma, after genetic distortions, after their temples were burned and their history was twisted and their memory was erased. Runes weren't just writing, they were frequency scripts carved literally to anchor intention into matter. Their shields bore stellar codes, their rituals aligned with Akasha eternal life sun cycles. You see, they weren't savages. Their story was hijacked and twisted by history. The Vikings were destroyers. They were planetary stewards, solar initiates, and now their true memory is rising from the ice and in the DNA of those who still remember.
Definitely paints the Vikings in a whole new light. And why don't we see more groups of aliens or individuals or beings that have these missions or goals? Wow, is that real? I wonder what kind of hidden surveillance technologies they have installed in that. Sure, I could see it.
Homer Simpson was able to figure out the calculation for the mass of the Higgs boson particle, aka the God particle, 14 years before CERN did, and that equation was worth $13.5 billion. So, is everything a stage? I don't even know anymore, but this is my driver. Are you kidding me? This is the particle accelerator that they're building in CERN, for context. And you just casually put that in a cartoon? You know, something just doesn't make sense there, but whatever.
Is that accurate? That seems crazy. You've been asked to leave today.